I'm Glenn May, and I'm with probably the most recognizable bass pro on the circuit today, Kevin VanDam. Kevin, it's a pleasure to have you on here today.
Glad to be here, man.
Kevin, at your level of fishing, strategy has got to be the biggest thing or one of the biggest factors to your success. Can you tell me a little bit about your strategy, how you approach a tournament, and does that change from tournament to tournament, or is it basically the same?
Well, what I've always tried to do is control the variables that I can and be aware of the ones that you can't control. You can't control the weather, you can't control fishing pressure or spectator boats, things like that, but you have to be aware of them. And, the Classic is probably the biggest one where you have to really factor that in. And a lot of times it's unknown. We don't know how many spectator boats are going to be out there, and you really don't know what the weather is going to be 3 days from now. So, I try to build a strategy based on the best information that I can and knowing my own fishing style that's going to give me a chance to win. And, I don't fish the same as, Peter T. or Aaron Martins or Bobby Lane, any of these other guys. So I have to do things a little bit differently. And, that's what gives me confidence when I'm out there is if I can do something that fits my style and I'm in my comfort zone and I can apply all these different factors that are going to happen out on the water or may happen out on the water and have a backup plan if something does change, and it doesn't go, as you expect, you have to be prepared. So many guys go out there with a game plan saying, hey, you know what, this is where I'm going to go and start. I found these fish here in practice. I'm going to go there and I'm going to catch a limit. Then I'm going to go over here and try to upgrade. And you go to your first starting spot and there's 5 boats there and you don't catch anything. And, you go to your backup spot and nothing happens. And, the wind's blowing a different direction and it muddied the water and you don't have a backup. So, I try to be aware of, those things and have something that you can fall back on. And sometimes you just don't, The reality of it is only one guy can win, and it's hard to be that guy.
Now, for this season, is your strategy going to change a little bit from previous seasons, or are you going to stick to what you've been doing?
You know what? The thing that I've learned over the years is that the more experience that I get, the better the decisions that I make. So, you just have to take every event by itself and look at the type of water that it is and look at the conditions when you get there. I mean, just because we're going to the same lake at the same time of the year doesn't mean it's going to be the same as it was the year before. So, I just really pretty much take it as it comes.
Fantastic. Now, have you ever fished a tournament where you just haven't felt like you're on top of your game 100%, but you've still placed really well or you've actually won?
Most of my really good tournaments are when I have a really tough practice or a really poor practice and I just don't have a lot to go on. And you go out there and just make the most of what you had. And sometimes you find that it's better than what you realize. One of the toughest things for me is when I go out and have a really good practice and I catch fish a lot of different ways in different areas because it's hard to narrow down what to do. Where you go out there and you don't catch many fish and you don't have a lot of areas, you go out there and you make the most of them. And, I've always fished real fast, and those are the times when it really helps me slow down and really take my time and be thorough. And, I can usually pull out a good tournament.
Now, if you have a bad day on the water, which I know is rare, but hey, if you have a bad day on the water or maybe you have a bad tournament, how do you keep focused and keep going?
You got to put the past in the past. What happened yesterday doesn't affect today, and if you're dwelling on that, it's going to hurt you. So I want to use what I learned the day before from that bad day to my advantage the next day. Learn from your mistakes. If you make the same mistake twice, shame on you.
Okay. Now, as a pro, you've probably heard some of the chatter and stuff. People think about what it's like to be a pro and the lifestyle and everything. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there. What do you think is the biggest misconception?
Well, I think a lot of people, especially the average weekend angler that watches, the Bassmasters on TV on Saturday mornings, they see that time when you're there in the finals and everything's going your way. What they don't see is what it took to get there. All the travel time and those tournaments where you don't do so well. The hardest part for me, for sure, especially having, twin boys and that, is that time away from home. I love what I do, without a doubt. It's a great life. I get to go out and I get to fish the best bodies of water in the country and some of the ones that aren't the best. But that change and that, all that time being always fresh and new places to go, and that's what makes it exciting. But getting there, going back and forth, that's the grind of it. I mean, staying in hotels and eating in fast food restaurants and things like that. That's the part of it that is not so glamorous.
Yeah. And you also work an awful lot with your sponsors too, and you also work with a number of your product lines, the VanDam, Sexy Free Shad and all that kind of stuff. How much involvement do you actually have in the development and creation of those products? How much input are you allowed to have?
We do almost all of it, actually. I have several companies that I work really, really close with. Strike King in lures, I mean, their whole marketing budget basically is based around their pro staff, and they've got one of the best pro staffs in the industry, and they've got guys that are excellent at all the different techniques. So, when we're going to work on a new spinnerbait or a crankbait, they're going to talk to the guys that they feel on their staff that are going to give them the best input, and that's what we do. Is we all kind of get together and tell them the things that we like or dislike, and bring the ideas all together and take everybody's best points and put them into our new products. And we do the same thing with Quantum, and it just goes right on down the line, whether it's Motor Guide with trolling motors. These companies have a great asset, and they're pros. I mean, in this market, or the tournaments, is what drives this industry. I mean, that's why we have better products all through it, whether it's the boat, the engine, the trolling motor, electronics. It's the competition that drives that whole industry, and we really make those products better, and it's through trial and error and testing. So
it's a lot more than just an endorsement.
Without a doubt. I mean, I love that aspect of it. I love the development side of it. I love to work on things, and I never have less than a half a dozen projects that I'm diligently working on for my sponsors.
Wow, that keeps you pretty busy, doesn't it?
Well, it's I want the best stuff to fish with too, and that's what it's all about right there, is bringing products that are going to be durable and are going to do what we say they're going to do, or a little bit better, or do the job a little better, and that's what it's really all about. I mean, and that's what I enjoy to do. I mean, my reputation's on the line out there. If you see Kevin VanDam's name on a product, you can pretty much count on that it's something that I truly use and believe in, and that reputation has really helped me over the years, and that's why people really support it.
Now I want to go back a little bit. You're talking about how much time you spend away from your family and on the water, and with all these different elite pros and stuff, they're almost like your second family, and you guys get along really good. I know that, and you joke around a lot. Have you been involved in any of those practical jokes I hear about, or can you think of a really good one that was really good recently?
One of the all-time best ones and it happens all the time, like you say. I mean, we have a lot of fun. These guys are our second family, and we usually stay in the same areas and stuff. But I can tell you, Gerald Swindle is one of the biggest practical jokers out here. He's a fun guy to be around. He's funny. Gerald's a good friend. A couple years ago, Gerald had a custom painted windshield on his boat that one of his sponsors did with the G-Man on it. I mean, and it was a really expensive windshield. I mean, and we were staying at the motel, and we went out to dinner. Gerald went out to dinner, and he had showed everybody this. He was so proud of this windshield, and one of the guys went and took that windshield off his boat and hit it. And he came back, and I mean, he was livid. He was mad, fighting mad, to find out what happened to it, because we'd had some extension cords and boat covers already taken at that motel, and he wasn't sure if one of us took it or somebody else. And I mean, he was fighting mad over that deal, and he didn't get a whole lot better when we gave it back to him either. He didn't. Gerald's one of those guys that he can really dish it out, but he doesn't like to have to take it.
Well, I'm glad you guys had fun, because like I said, he's dishing it out all the time. He's got to get it back every once in a while. Hey, Kevin, I want to give you a moment now. It's what I call the shameless plug moment. You can talk about your sponsors, or maybe an upcoming DVD or book that you have coming out, or if you just want to say something to your fans out there.
Well, I've got a lot of great sponsors, and we've got a lot of great products and things like that. And for me, one of the big things, especially like this week at the Classic, is an opportunity to get close to the fans. And one of the tough things for me is getting to be able to spend that time at the outdoor show or at the boat launch and things like that and get a lot of autographs for people. So we tried to do some extra things this year. With Strike King, I've got a signature series bait that we got special that I signed every single one of them, of a Series 5 Sexy Shad crankbait that we're going to have available only here at the Classic. We do a lot of promotions and things on the website to help, get some of that memorabilia and stuff out there too. So for me, the reason that I'm out here and able to make a living at this is because of my sponsors, and that's because of the fans that support my sponsors and me. And so we just try to do as much as we can for them.
Fantastic. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it. Have good luck out there.
Thank you.